Western Washington, specifically Seattle and Tacoma, are port cities. And where there is water, there is transportation. And where there is transportation, there is the movement of creativity and people. And what I love about Seattle and Tacoma specifically is the creativity of the people that come from all over the country and all over the world. And Heru is one of those people, and I love to hear their stories. So let's get into part two.
There was a bunch of Haitian immigrants that came into the Hilltop initially. From the South, people from the South moved up there. People from, Fort Lewis McCourt that were with the armed forces moved up there. But there were already some brothers and sisters up there from Haiti that kind of had settled roots there on the Hilltop. So it was known as Little Haiti. It was a little Haitian spot. It's very vibrant culturally. Some of those people were still there when I got there. It had kind of evened out. There were more of a mixed group of black people. But, by the time I moved up there, it was kind of more diverse as far as that's concerned. So it wasn't Little Haiti anymore, it was known as the Hilltop. I had never seen gangs before. Like in Alabama, we had crews or cliques, just small groups of friends that we banded together. When I got to the Hilltop, there was gangs, there was gang life. It was Hilltop Crip all day. And so, on my street, people was getting shot up and stuff, man. It was a lot of shooting, a lot of crack cocaine. A lot of problems out there. I'd never seen that type of life. We had hustlers, we had pimps, we had that kind of life. We were more connected that way, but I never saw that until I came out here. I had to square up. Luckily my mom had me in Taekwondo and boxing, karate from a young dude. So as soon as I got out here, we had to square up and had to go hand-to-hand combat to prove that I wasn't no punk. Growing up on the Hilltop, they want to box. So, after school, you meet in the alleyway and you had to get your hands up and get your hands dirty. But I made my friends that way. The cats that I fought with were the cats that I rocked with for the rest of my life. When I moved up to the Seattle area, initially, I was a little bit older. I was in college. And so, I was in a hip hop game and I was rapping, writing rhymes and things like that. So, I had a group of cats I hung out with. I wasn't really in the Seattle neighborhoods until I met those cats. I met those cats and then I kind of got brought into the Seattle neighborhoods in the Central District, South End and things like that. But we would just, kind of vibe out, hit the studio, rap and things. Gang life was still going on in Seattle, but I wasn't really involved with the gang life. I never really clicked up anyways with gang activity. I was more kind of like a hip hopper, a rapper, a hustler type. So I stayed out of that life. But Seattle had a vibrant black community. There was a lot of brothers up here, sisters up here that were teaching, living strong, learning how to eat to live and stuff like that. I got handed some books that brought me life, you know what I mean? So Seattle was beautiful though. I was able to battle on the street corners out here. We would sit downtown Seattle and have ciphers all day and then go to school and run boards behind an engineer. It's surreal. I went up there the other day. I was driving, it was getting dark. And I saw this little blonde girl on a bicycle. She had ponytails in her hair. She was pedaling a bicycle and literally had flowers in a basket. Back in the day, first of all, you wouldn't see any white people. Secondly, you definitely wouldn't see a little girl by herself pedaling a bike down the street while it's getting dark. So it's surreal. I think that, black people can't afford to live in those areas anymore. They got, with the drugs that came in, the police officers and the way that they attacked our people, put our brothers in prison, and they knew they were gonna push those drugs into their neighborhood. They knew they were gonna bring the police presence in. They knew they were gonna get rid of those black men and women who were gonna be homeowners and things like that. They knew the property value was gonna go up. So it was a plan by design. Nobody does these things on accident. There's no coincidence. Black people were easy targets for law enforcement when it came to drug use because we weren't allowed to use drugs inside of our house. So we're standing on the corners using drugs, selling drugs and things like that. These white dudes get to use drugs inside of their house. They throwing parties, having parties or whatever, using drugs or whatever. When the police get called out to their house, they just call their parents and they squash it. We're out on the corners doing what we have to do, and we get targeted by these cops, man. I remember being 13 years old when I first got to the Hilltop. I'm walking down the street, man. A cop pulls up on me, hits me with an air horn, turns me around, takes a picture of my face, man. It puts me in a gang book. I've never joined a gang a day in my life. So it was constant terrorism with the cops, man. We knew that the drugs wasn't coming in through the Hilltop, but we were getting targeted. When UW did a study on where the drugs were coming in, the law enforcement agencies didn't go to those neighborhoods and stop the drugs from coming in. Instead, they targeted the poor people that had no recourse but to be out on the street corner doing what they do. we were priced out of those areas. It became prime real estate. Now our people can't live there, so our people are trying to find new places to get together, to call community, to call home. We don't have that anymore really out here. But we have places like Africatown Community Land Trust that are trying to make sure that there's a representation in these neighborhoods for Black people, and there's affordable housing and services are built around those housing spaces to support Black people. So it's beautiful. Stress is one of the #1 killers of our people. It's related to basically every major illness that we have in our culture. And so if we can learn how to transcend stress, we can learn how to heal ourselves. Starts with the breath. So I teach people how to breathe. Just breathe in through your nose into your lower abdomen. My classes on Saturdays are free. So free 99 at 9 o'clock a.m. You can join me online or in person. You can find me on Instagram. Just look up Heru Nefer, HERUNEFER on Instagram. That's the best way to contact me. DM me there. You can find a list of all of my pages there. Heru Nefer means have a good day. So I send peace and blessings to all my people every time I open my mouth around that, you know?